Okay, so let's get right to it. I'm going to give you a step-by-step on how I created the beat, The Cool of Heaven. Let's go. All right, we're going live right now. And the first thing we're going to do is go into the drums first. Okay, so right here, you can see where I have the drum section. Let's get right to that. So you got on the group, you have FabFilter Pro Q2, and you see that I fixed the parameters to give it that bright, wide sound, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so let's go right here. All right, so I want you to hear how it sounds when I take it off. All right, now notice how you can hear how I mixed it correctly before I added the preset, the drum preset from FabFilter Pro. All right, and look at how everything is panned. Okay, move in closely. Look how everything is panned, because you want to make sure that your sounds are mixed and, you know, correctly when it comes to doing that. And then when it comes to the metaverb or putting EQ on your stuff, just make sure you're not overdoing it. Just doing it, you know, a little light accent, you know, to your sound. You know what I mean? And right here, I'm using Drum Lab, so you hear this. All right. Well, some sound, whatever that is. All right. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Yeah, Drum Lab is pretty dope. All right. Then I got a time flip on there. All right. And this is the kick, the 808 kick that I used. All right. So let's get right to the loop. Check that out. And I don't have when I first made this loop, I made it using one of the VSTs from Native Instruments. I can't remember which one. It might have been Analog Dreams, or it's one of those. I can't remember. All right, now the kick drum, I mean the voice, let's go to the voice right here. On the group for the voice, I put you know, the vocal preset on there, and I set the parameter as is, and moving right along right here, you see that I have on the first vocal, I got metaverb, and I'll show you why. All right, okay, check that out. Boom. Then I also put vocal synth on it as well. All right, I love some vocal synth. It's just pretty dope, and I used Polyvox on the vocal synth. Okay. And then actually on each vocal I used metaverb. Okay, so all right, you can just hear the difference. All right, so it does matter when you're mixing your vocals. Make sure you mix them properly. Notice on track 3, I have the vocal panned hard to the left at the bottom, and it just really matters. This is also how I mix rap vocals, or, you know, or singing vocals. I treat these singing sampled vocals like real vocals. All right, keep that in mind when you're making a beat. You want to make sure that you take the same urgency, you know, or seriousness, you know, when it comes to you mixing vocals. All right, I also use this Vox Runs module, which is pretty cool. I use this a lot on tons of my beats. I'll use the vocals and then I'll resample them. I always keep the reverb off because I want to add my own reverb. That's Vox Runs module. All right, cool. And yep, and so on the Vox Runs module, notice that I put the same exact plugins on the vocals, and I did that for a lot of them. For vocals 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's the same exact presets. I'm sorry, plugins. Now you don't have to do that all the time, but just make sure when you're doing your vocals that they should all be pretty much at the same decibel, the same volume, and so forth and so on. All right, so let's move right into the drums, which are filtered. Check this out right here. All right, check out the drums. Okay, check this out. I filtered the drums, so I want to show you what I did to them. Okay, check this out. All right. All right, but on the group, what I did was I actually put a filter on here, and actually it goes like this. My bad. All right, my bad. That's actually how it sounds. Okay. Cool. So that's actually how it sounds. And I forgot to put the filter on in the first part. And when you listen to the song, The Cool of Heaven, hey, you'll hear it for yourself. All right. So when I take the filter off, it sounds like this. All right. You can see how I mixed this drum loop, and that's why it came out like that. I actually do a lot of my drum loops just like that. And when it comes to using native instruments, I make sure I try to color code everything correctly, and I put everything in its own respective group. And then I put a high symbol on there as well, and so that's why you hear that. But then if I take it out, just adds a nice little ride to it. Cool. And then moving down here, we got the bass synth. All right, and the bass synth, for the bass synth group, I used Relic Ship, which is by, let's go to this right here. I used a Subtone Stereo Enhancer for this group, and I also used another Subtone Stereo Enhancer, all right? But for this sound, the Relic Ship, it comes from Analog Dreams. You can see the A and B portion, wobble keys, and the Lush mono synth were used together. Please remember to use the parameters at the bottom to have fun with those and really try to break rules when it comes to making beats. The plucky sound that you're going to hear comes from the Motif. All right, and this bass sub comes from Massive. It's very, very dope. Just take your time with that. It's very, very dope. And so let's check it out. Let's hear how it sounds all together. And let's hear the strings all together. Okay, and these strings come from the Motif. The Motif. All right, cool. And to make it, this is the Motif 6. The Motif 6. All right, so let's hear that all together. Alright, so notice how in the first part of the beat it was real calm, and then at the end of the beat I wanted to add a very not scary, but I guess more of a not a happy, but just more of a triumphant cinematic sound. Some of my cinematic soulful beats have a very scareful, scary sound to it, but this one I really wasn't trying to go for that approach, because in the first part of the beat it was very calm, and if this beat was for an artist, I would want the artist to have space. All right, so when you're making a beat, you got to make sure to leave space for the artist, and if you're making a beat tape, you want to leave space for the listener as well, so they can just hear and feel within the beat. Some of my listeners say that when they hear my beats that they can create stories, so it's all up to you how you do it, but this is just my approach. Check it out again. All right, listen to the spaces in the beat, and when you're making a beat, your beat should always be able to ride without the drums. Your beat should always be able to ride without the drums, meaning that your melody, the melody that you create should be dope. All right. This is another reason why you should grab my sample packs, because especially the compositions, the stems, because once you grab the stems, you'll be able to see how I created step, one by one, each composition. All right, head to theroyalbuild.com/sample packs. The link will be in the description box below. All right, going back to the strings. Now on the strings, I did add a group. I believe I talked about that as well. If not, I'm going over it now. I put a Subtone Stereo Enhancer. Now the key word is subtle, and I want you to keep that word in mind when you're doing mixing and mastering. All of your sounds should be your tweaks and volume and stuff like that, everything should be subtle. If you have a loud 808 kick in your song, it should not be bleeding at the red, like up here. It should be subtle but still dope, still loud but very subtle. Okay, if you need to put roll that bass off a little bit, cool, but subtle is the key when it comes to mixing and mastering and making beats. All right, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, We went over the drums. All right, we talked about how I created the drums. We talked about how I created the strings. Now, I will say this: when you're making your beats, I gotta tell you guys, I don't know how to read music. I play everything by ear. So when I made, when you hear me playing back, the brass or the strings, it's all coming from growing up listening to jazz music, listening to songs from TV and film. And so when you hear this, I'm actually just playing what I grew up on, and I'm just adding that hip hop feel to it. Check out those drums. All right. Just get that cinematic soulful feel. This is just stuff that I grew up on, and so I'm just recreating it my own way. Alright, so I hope this video has helped you. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get the comment section going on, and I hope to see you soon. If you would like to see more videos like this, let me know. Peace. Just some small tips for producers, and creatives. Make sure to be yourself. Because if you're not yourself, you're not going to feel good when you release your product. It's really cool to follow trends. I think that's dope. I mean, you obviously heard the 808s and the snares with that little trap feel, because I love trap music, but my roots are soul, right? The boom bap type beats. And I also challenge myself when I make my beats. So you're never going to hear like just all boom bap beats. I have a lot of beats that no one has ever heard that are for particular artists, right? But I still have to be myself. Follow a trend, yes, but always be yourself. Try your best to be unorthodox, but give a listening ear to your clients as well. If you're making beat tapes, I say to go all out and show everything that you can do. If you check out all of my beat tapes, you'll see different styles of how I sequenced and formatted different beats. If you're looking for lo-fi, the trap soul feel, the cinematic soul feel, I give all of that in a lot of my beat tapes. I appreciate you for checking out this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and head to theroyalbuilt.com for sample packs, merch, beats, and more. Peace.